this can be. Right. So I'm going to zoom in and we're going to work on this. So we have here ivory black, phthalo blue, and white. Need to adjust focus. Okay. All right, let's do that. So what we're going to do, I'm going to bring this over here so you can see. What we're going to do is paint the motif itself in the same color as the door, because this motif is higher. And we're going to leave in between darker. I'll show you. So let's start with this inside. So keep that white line if you can, so you can see it, so it doesn't blend with the background, with the door. Now the challenge is not to dip my sleeve in this. So we're going to continue with the side of the door. You know, I know at some point you will not see the motif, but when we start adding the highlights, I mean the strong light on the edge, you'll see it again. Pause the recording as soon as I finish this part, and I'll give you time to work on it.
Sure.
Okay, so now I'm going to start highlighting part of this motif to make it look more like a coming out, like a relief, or what do you call it? Relief?
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay. So I'm mixing blue, which is the black and blue ivory black and phthalo blue, and I'm putting quite a bit of white in there. And I'm gonna be, with a small brush, I'm gonna come here and then highlight this part, highlight this part up here. Highlight this. Right here. See that circle? Just the bottom part, if possible. It's really small. Like even me, I'm not able to do that, but down here. Anything that's the bottom part of this motif is I'm highlighting the bottom part. I'm sorry, the upper part, not the bottom part. And adjust a bit what I did here. I lost some shapes. I'm gonna put them back. I'm adding a little bit more white. You know, it's drying darker, so I'm just going to adjust the highlights again. And I'm just going to add a little bit more white. And if you want, you wish you have a pen to do this instead of the brush. Yes.
I have that jelly roll one that you were using for something else.
Mm.
That would work or not.
Let's do this here. Let's put a bit of white in there. Doesn't have to be like all the way, just parts of it. And now the other thing that we're going to do is put white or light blue. Light blue, the bottom here. Sometimes what I do once I get to this point, I add more detail if I want, or I just leave it just the way it is. You know, just add maybe another circle in here. You know, just add a couple of little or a triangle in here, and that would change the shape of the motif a bit. Or just leave it just the way it is if I am happy with it. Sometimes, you know, I look at the motif and I find that maybe part of that motif looks a bit too heavy, too big, too wide. It needs to be, adjusted. And that's why I do that. Like right now, and you don't have to do that. I'll just show you. Okay, so I can do this. Let's say I'll take dark blue. And create another little put a triangle here. It will change the shape a bit. Enhance the white a bit in certain areas, because again, it's drying darker. So I just go in and then I add a bit of more white or light blue. Now, at this point, this is really dark, very dark. This is supposed to be wood, but it's recess. Is that how you say it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
So this wood is in, and this is out. We can keep it like that. We can keep it this dark, or we can just kind of go in and then enhance, just kind of a little bit, make it a little bit lighter. Just a tiny bit, not everywhere, in certain areas. Right there. See how it just softens a bit, all of that heavy contrast between the part of the wood that's out and the part that's in. The small ones usually are extremely dark, so I'm going to keep them that way. It doesn't matter. But usually when I'm looking at doors like this, or details or motifs like that, I can see that some parts, you look at it and you see it's really dark. But there. Okay. Again, I'm just putting a bit more white in here. White and blue. It's not never like just not white by itself. I say white, but it's actually white and blue. And I'm just adding more white in the blue. Okay. I like to connect the wood, this motif, to the panel down here, and leave the upper part higher. It just, the reason I do this is just less lines, and it flows in nicer. The motif will connect more with the door, rest of the door. It looks like it's part of the door instead of having it sitting on top. Yeah, it's less lines. My line is a bit crooked. I will adjust it. Good. Okay. Okay, now for the frame, we are going to use titanium buff, burnt umber, and a bit of ultramarine violet. So mostly it's titanium buff. Let me see. Yeah, that's good. That's a good one. And I'll show you once I remove the tape. To tape all that. This is the dark part. We still need to work with dark. This part is underneath the tree. So it will be dark and it will have darker kind of or spots of light in there. Okay, so here we go. A little bit of, let's add a bit of purple in some areas, so it doesn't look like we're painting the wall. We're painting a wall. It looks like it's. There we go. I do have another little line in here, detail. You're welcome to keep it or remove it, whatever you like, whatever you feel comfortable. Okay, it's right here. See that purple one?
Yes.
Yeah, that's another one. It's another line. And I'm going to just drag this down because we're going to highlight part of it and I'll show you what we're going to be doing in a minute. Let's just put that color for now.
What are the two colors again? Ultramarine violet and titanium buff. That's all you've put?
No, titanium buff,
Yeah.
burnt umber.
Oh, burnt umber.
Yeah, and a bit of ultramarine violet.
Yeah.
I like to put masking tape for the first layer and then I remove it. I don't keep it when I start highlighting more. When I add more highlights, then I remove the masking tape. But for just the first part, it's easier. It's just easier to, control the color. And of course, it doesn't have to look perfect.
Why not?
Not really, really. It doesn't have to look perfect.
That's a relief.
All right, let's do this small part. Let's do a bit more titanium buff. This is just another little detail just to make it look softer, not, so to make the door look, the frame look soft, not heavy. And again, it doesn't have to be, you'll see it. It's like, the frames usually have more than one. They're not just one piece from here to here. They have a bit of detail. I believe we have, yeah, I have some plants coming over here, so I don't really have to be too accurate on this part, this side. Okay, this is good enough. For this side, I'll just clean up a bit. Now I'm going to start highlighting a bit. So I'm taking more of the titanium buff. And I'm going to start highlighting from this side, this part down to follow the same shape of where the plants are casting a shadow. So let's do something like this. Oh, maybe I need a bit of white. Oh, I have white here. Let's take some white and put it in the titanium buff to get a good highlight. Wiggle your highlights up here. Don't make it straight. So it looks like the plants are casting a shadow over the door. Same thing we did with the window frame. We're going to do with the frame, the door frame. So this part is a bit tedious, but eventually it will look good. I'll let it dry and I'll come back to it if it needs to be adjusted. Now let's do this one. So again, this one will start from here because you see where the shadow is of the tree on the door. We're going to continue. Let's take it from here. So one is higher than the other. Left side, right side is lower. Left side is higher. And let's do the, oh, yeah. Okay.
Liel, I'm sorry, but I have to go. Thank
Okay.
you so much. So glad
Okay.
I could come.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Did you add white to that?
Yes, I did.
You did.
I did add white to the titanium buff.
Well, I'm going to get going too. Thank you again.
You're
And we'll
welcome.
see you next week.
Yes, see you next
Thank you.
week.
Bye-bye.
Hi, you're welcome. Right, so I'm trying here to adjust my wiggly lines. I will adjust them better with a different brush because I need to turn to have a good line, I need to turn my canvas around, and I'll do it after. But for now, this is good. Usually what I do is I try to take a bit of more white, make the top part a little bit lighter than the bottom part. So I add a little bit more highlights on top here and let it kind of go into a darker at the bottom, darker piece at the bottom. Next week, we'll do the top part of this frame. Meanwhile, we can adjust if we want the door frame with the right highlights and, not right highlights, but the kind of make it a little bit better than this, but that's the idea. So now you see the top part is inside that, in the shadow area right there. So next week we'll work on this to make it look, come forward, this part. And of course, yes, of course, I forgot. And while we're doing this at this point, we can add a couple of dabs of sun here and there on this door. All right, it's good. It looks good. So this is where we're at right now. Next week, we'll work on the motif, top of the door, and we'll put a handle on oil and continue, come down, or put the green on top too.